Hey there, how's it going? What is up, everybody? Irish Orangutan is back to pass along what you need to know to get better at Madden and grow your Mutt team. Enjoy the show. Today we have another top 10. I am excited to kind of go through some of the players today that have really made an impact in the game of Mutt this year in kind of a variety of ways. There'll be players that you've seen quite a bit through Weekend League and players that have impacted the game in different ways throughout the year. And we'll be going through those and kind of explaining exactly why each of these players did make it onto the list. There were a couple of honorable mentions I do want to say. Steve Young and whatever rookie premiere comes out here in about a month. Those two players have impacted the game, and one will impact the game considerably, especially going into next year. I've seen Steve Young quite a bit in Weekend League, and it really has been kind of a left-handed dominant quarterback game this year, so it kind of has been fun to see that. But we do have quite a few others of these top 10s out there, so definitely go check those out. But for today, getting things kicked off, we have Bobby Wagner at number 10. He was the best middle linebacker during the mid-season. He really came out and brought the 99s to the game, especially those gold 99s. Todd Gurley was kind of in that regard as well, but halfbacks have been plentiful this year, and Bobby could fit into any 3-4, even alongside Shaz. So just keeping that in mind, and any nickel defense as well. He really was the best defender in the game when he came out. He's been tremendous in the pass game all year. You can just let him kind of fly on his own, but you just really need to give it up to Bobby Wagner while he's in the game because he plays like a safety and was very dominant for a period of the year. Coming in at number 9, we have Joe Mixon. He is a standout this year because of Mutt drafts and the way he stood out, in competitive Madden this year. He really was a considerable asset to many teams, catching the ball, even looking at what he is compared to Walter Payton and some of the other running backs that are now in the game. He is better at catching the ball than all of them. So he really is someone that you can move around the field and just kind of make work in different sets and outrun people when you were drafting earlier in the year and your team was not quite as complete. He really allowed some people in competitive Madden to win games that they might not have been able to win otherwise. So it is really nice to be able to say he is a standout player this year. Also, along with that, he kind of came out when theme teams really became something great, and he was someone that allowed the Bengals to get a times 3. Bengals really don't have the best theme teams, so when they're doing a 50 out of 50, that really helps them out as well, so they can fit in some players from other teams onto their theme team and still get all of those bumps in stats that you normally would get with your theme team. Coming in at number 8, we have Randy Moss. He was the best wide receiver for a long time, just catching the ball and being able to move and just mossing people, just to be fair. You haven't needed to add anything to his spectacular catch, even in his last version. You're able to get him up to 99 speed. He was absolutely dominant before Calvin came into the game and still should be paired with Calvin. And just the high point passes this year have allowed Randy Moss to stand out exclusively. He really is absolutely dominant, and it's fun to see him be as good in the game as he was in real life in most regards. Coming in at number 7, we have Sean Taylor, the best box safety in the game. At 6'2", it allows him to be just a little bit more scary, and his athletic attributes
allow him to stand out and have stood out since the beginning of the year. He has gotten a lot of updates this year, and they've been really consistent that have kind of kept him ahead of a lot of other players and players that are still coming out right now. He really has been one of the best defensive backs in the game all year, no matter what point you were looking at. Even when he had his 93 overall card, that safety played just as well as every other free safety that had been put into the game, and then he just got more upgrades after that. So, just looking at his stat line, especially on Redskins theme teams, he is absolutely dominant. Coming in at number 6, we have Deion Sanders. Really, all of you know, not a lot really needs to be said. All those stats over on the left side pretty much come stock now. The reason he comes in at number 6, he came in with the Blitz promo, and you were able to put him out at cornerback, and you haven't had to take him off number 1 cornerback because he has been the best all year. And this year, it has been a heavy passing game with high points and just deep passing being allowed. Um, with newer players, it does become a lot more difficult as you get higher up the ladder. But Dion has been a tremendous athlete, and as you can see, all those on the left side, except for jumping and press, are just straight 99s. It is just absolutely scary how good he is in the game. It's hard for him to separate kind of from other corners now, but he separated himself early in the game and has been very good ever since. Coming in at number 5, Tyreek Hill. He has been a wide receiver that almost every Mutt player has had on their team at one point in time. There is a little bit of controversy with his name now, and he might become the way of halfback 25. Kareem Hunt is back in the NFL now. There is a lot of controversy exactly over what happened with Hill. There are a lot of people throwing him under the bus. With his latest message recently. But just looking past that, his card did not do that. In Mutt this year, he was someone that everyone did have to knock out those solo battles with the gauntlet. So it is hard to not mention him on this list, considering everything. And he is still 99 speed wide receiver that every team could use still today. Coming in at number 4, we have Ricky Williams. He has been everyone's favorite running back or most hated running back, depending on how long you have been running with him. At this point, I do not have him in my lineup. I really do love the 3 horsemen I do have over there with Walter Payton, Adrian Peterson, and Barry Sanders. They can definitely bring up upon the apocalypse at any point in time. Ricky's a tremendous running back. Obviously, free card. Everyone has had him on their team as you've been playing throughout the year. It is exciting to have one of those studs to just kind of be able to run with, and very, very excited to be able to have him in the game. Especially with people who are no money spent, he has been a tremendous asset for all of us. Coming in at number 3, we have Ryan Shazier. Again, coming back with one of those free cards that everyone has had. He has been the most dominant linebacker throughout the year up until when Bobby Wagner came out, and he kind of took that claim for a short period of time. But after his master card allowed you to build him out a little bit more and go from 95 to 99 overall, as you can see, his running and ability to shut down the pass are just absolutely phenomenal. So I can't rank him any lower than this. He is a great free middle linebacker, and you kind of see him everywhere and with every team because even if he isn't their number 1, he's definitely their number 2. Coming in at number 2, we have Lawrence Taylor. Him alongside Deion Sanders have completely kind of changed the game with their position because you could get them and just kind of let them sit, while other players have kind of caught up with what Deion Sanders is able to do. no one compares to what Lawrence Taylor looks like as a card. Just looking at that strength, speed, and acceleration. I mean, Sweat comes close with some of the speed attributes, and Clowney comes kind of close with the block shedding and other attributes down below. But just with his speed, acceleration, and combo of all those stats, he has just absolutely been a freak all year. He's the most game-changing defender that you can have on your defense. Even the card below this was absolutely phenomenal. I think his card below this may have even came out around the Harvest promo, so that is just crazy that he has been out that long. He was the first card that I bought early because I knew he could absolutely change the game. I remember doing his set, and that was just absolutely phenomenal. He's been been the best pass rusher all year, and it's not going to be close until the end of the. Coming in at number one, we have Michael Vick. It is hard to dispute that he has been the player that allows you to do the most different things and has allowed your team to win the most games this year. Ever since he has came out, he has been dynamic. There was a point at the beginning of the year that when you signed in, you were able to get his power up for free, and just his power up card was the best quarterback in the game. It did take a while for him to get a power up at one point, but it was hard to really play with any other quarterback if you were trying to play with the best. And him being left-handed has always been hard for me this year. Have played with him, have his card below this, and have put out a couple of videos with the card that we're looking at on the left, but have sold that off. When it dips down again, I'm sure we're going to go out and purchase it because it is a lot of fun to go out and run with. With this Kyler Murray, there can be an argument that he might be a better quarterback now, but Vic still has that little bit of arm strength built in, but those accuracy stats may leave a little bit wanting at this point. But for 8 months of the game, which has been the majority of the game, and the majority of the game people have played, kind of why we're able to put out this list at this point, as this is concluding. It's hard to dispute the impact that he's had, and I cannot anymore. He is number one. The only thing you can really argue with is if that has kind of destructed the game and made the value of other quarterbacks kind of go down. It's hard to argue that as well, but with the way they are changing the game up next year, we might be able to see Tom Brady a little bit higher on this list. And Mike, that is all that we do have today. Definitely let me know if you do think another player did make a bigger impact in the game this year, and definitely let me know why down below. But besides that, I do not have any more. Do not have any more to share with you today. I wish you all the best and take care.
Thank you for checking into the Irish Orangutan channel. Keep coming back for more Madden knowledge. There will be consistent videos up every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to see them all. Come by Twitch to engage and hit me up on Twitter at Irish Orangutan. Take care and much love, everybody.